pleasure to introduce an awesome young man, not so young now actually, as to when I first met him. So welcome along, Callum of Banfield Eventing. Welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to be chatting today about Callum's got a very, very interesting story. And actually, there's still a lot of it that I don't know. And we were just having a quick chat now about some bits and pieces. And there's some assumptions that I'd made about your journey along the way that actually were wrong. So I can't wait to hear some more about what's got you to where you are today, what Banfield Equestrian is, and just telling us some more about your really different ethos and what you're trying to provide. Well, not what you're trying to at the moment, obviously you're not, but what you are providing people when we're not in lockdown. So tell us a little bit about yourself then, Callum. What brings you to where you are today?
It sounds strange saying it, but it was all very random. It kind of came out of nowhere, and it just kept, kind of the snowball effect of getting bigger and bigger very quickly. And originally, the start of it was I just wanted to ride and to grow a career in that. But to make that happen, there was a few things that needed to happen. So I originally I was running shows to kind of make some money, and I mean even that bought like my first riding hat, which I still have now, things like that. And then it just kept going. And I remember sitting in the car with a friend's mum, and she kind of said to me, "So is this what you want to do with your life now?" And I was like, "No." And it just kept going and getting bigger and more popular, and I just kind of went with it. And then we kind of swerved the shows and went towards the clinics for to try and get me some training, really, because I realized as I was going out more to shows and things to be better, I needed to train, but I wasn't, I didn't kind of have the resources for that. So I kind of had to make it happen again and create it. And it again started off very low level, just clinics and things. And then suddenly I had like piggy French was cancer and everyone, but yeah.
So we sort of met, a few years ago now. How old were you? 15, I think, weren't you? So
yeah.
Because I know you were trying to hire the centre that at the time I was the events coordinator for. And I remember saying, this sounds great, but are you insured and everything? So, that was and here you are today. So it's really awesome to see that actually you've come a long way and that you've had to overcome a lot of challenges to get here. So tell us a little bit more about, exactly what it was that happened there. Because you said it was going to start off with just a few local shows, and now it's
so it was again all very random of a Facebook Messenger group of a group of friends, and our local RDA centre was running clear rounds, and I kind of thought it'd be a good idea to do one, and with the showing classes, gorgeous gelding and all of that rubbish, and just I tried to book the venue, and kind of my friends backed off when I kind of went through with it, and it didn't quite work there. So I took it upon myself to email Hicksted, which was April 2016. And then in October 2016, I was running arena eventing with 150 people. And it was, we did dressage and arena eventing. So I did all the advertising and things and just put it together, booked everything. And then the Saturday morning, I went up to Hicksted, laid out some dressage boards and built a course, and then put some sheets out, ready banners and things, and then got there Sunday morning, and then 150 riders rocked up.
And what did that feel like to you when, you hadn't realised how big that was going to be, because it was the first arena eventing there'd been at Hicksted, and I was there. I was one of those competitors, and I was supporting you with that, and it was we had so much fun. I think I might have won or come second, actually. We quite liked your events. I don't know, me and my old mare did amazingly at your events. We were all like, yeah, let's go to one of Callum's one. We seemed to do really well there. It wasn't the 50 quid, so I was bugging you, obviously. But so what was it like that first morning when these people just descended on it? You had a show to run.
I was very out of my depth, and had a a bit of an eye opener. I bench judged at it was Littleton Horse Trials the week before, and so for the first time I just kind of went and did some bench judging for the day just to kind of get an idea. And I didn't realise how complicated that was, and so that really gave me a kick up the bum. So the next week I probably didn't sleep, and my parents wondered what the hell I'm doing, and so yeah, it was, you know, everything down to the smallest things of ordering walkie-talkies, printing all the sheets, the times, answering emails, everything. And yeah, that morning, well, yeah, so we'd built the course, the dressage arenas, everything, and it was all ready. And people, I think I got there about 6 o'clock, and the first rider was in at 8 o'clock. So people started walking the course and think it's about 7. And then it really kicked in that this is real and it's about to happen. And there's no backing out now. It was too late. So I just kind of went with it and hoped for the best. And by the end of the day, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
So what was it that meant you carried on then? Because sometimes those kind of baptisms of fire are like for never again, but something must have sparked it for you to carry on and do some more.
I think, I mean, I've always been very interested in the business side of things. From a young age, I mean, I used to set up a squash stand at a local fair and then sell 20p squash. I've always liked trading. You know, customers give me something, I give them something. But it was just really sitting down that evening and reading back all the feedback on Facebook, and that kind of made me sit there and think, oh, that was cool. You know, it had an impact, sort of thing. And I had a lot of good messages, and you know, people coming up to me, asking me, "Where's Callum? Are you Callum's son?" And 15-year-old me was like, "No, I'm him." And that's been going on for a couple of years now, to be honest. And it's a bit of a shock to people, I think. But you know, you like everything. When it goes well, it's nice, and you know, when bad things hit the fan, then I also need to take that. So it's you know, dealing with both sides of it.
And so how do you then deal with setbacks and challenges? Because you've had a fair few along the way. This has not been an easy ride. And we haven't even talked about where you've gotten to yet, but we will do in a minute.
I think age, to be fair, has kind of worked in my favour. Of some older people are kind of more set in their ways, and you know, it's their way or the highway sort of thing. So you know, little me, when I'm getting screamed at in the face by a pony club mum, when I'm probably the same age as their child who got eliminated, I stand there, you know, smile, agree, give them a nice email when I get home, try again, and hope for the best, and I hope they have a better experience. But yeah, it's just, you know, when things go wrong, like anything, you do have to kind of take it on the chin and you know, hold your hands up and try again.
And do you think that's helped you as well in your riding and your competing, having that kind of like, oops, learn from it, move on kind of mindset?
Yes, in some ways, and then in the other, I like to think I'm very good at giving advice, but not taking it. And so I'm a bit harder on myself riding. If things go wrong, it's you know, the end of the world. So yeah, in some ways, it's helped me just kind of almost in a good way wing it, in the sense, if things go wrong, take the risk and learn from it. But yeah, it's not the nicest feeling when things do go wrong.
No, of course. I mean, I don't think any of us like that feeling, but so this idea of, you know, take the risk, wing it, that's something that's very much gotten to you today, hasn't it? And when we say wing it, we don't mean like, you know, take crazy risks or anything, but we just mean like have a belief that something's going to happen, take a risk and make it happen. That kind of thought process.
Yeah.
So tell us
definitely.
a little bit. Tell us a bit about where you are today, because you're just in the most amazing place doing the most awesome things right now.
So I'm in Gloucestershire. So I have it's a 24 box yard, 2 houses, and 20 acres, which at the moment is very empty and not the nicest, but kind of enjoying the peace and quiet. But when it's busy, it's got a whole lorry park of of trailers and lorries. The barn is full with 18 horses up there. And I've got a full house with people staying in, and then we're all having dinner and drinking in the evening.
And that's camps and training that you do. So tell us about that then, what you provide up there at Banfield Equestrian.
So kind of the fundamentals of it is training camps with the top riders, and people coming along, and really the idea of it is literally get away from reality. We had a hashtag Banfield bubble trending at one point, because it is, once you come in the gate for 2-3 days, you forget about what's going on outside. You spend it and make friends, you spend it with your horse, enjoy yourself, and then you have to leave the gates eventually, and then you've had a good time and leave in a better place than you started.
And so what is it that meant that you set that up? Because that kind of ethos is different. Like there's a couple of bits there. There's the whole kind of world-class trainers element of it, like access to those guys. And then there's also the idea of, camps isn't a new thing, but being able to provide what you do and making it into that beautiful bubble, which is, by the way, what I love doing myself when I do my camps. We're in our bubble. It's great fun. They are the best thing. What is it that meant that you decided that's what you wanted to do instead of running a traditional yard? Or I know you coach and train rather than just doing that.
To be honest, I still don't quite know. It just happened, and I went with it, and kind of saw how things went. But it's just almost the supply and demand thing of people enjoying it, carry on. But I think there's two parts of it, like you say, is the training side of having that good training at any level. And people message me when they want to book and say I'm only jumping 80-90, and it really doesn't matter. We had a cross pole group at a Gemma Tattersall camp, but it's all about bettering yourself. And then on the social side of it it's just really creating good memories too. And I've had so many people that have been worried about coming alone, and they leave with a new group of friends. And I have WhatsApp groups and things with some of them, and they bump into each other at events and catch up. And now I have a group of riders that they're all strangers, or a couple knew each other. They came to a camp last April, and I think they've been to 3 or 4 camps now as a group, and they're rebooking as a group, or they text each other, are you going to this one? And they go off and do their own things, like I said, shows and schooling. And it's really a good social side to it.
And so you said earlier when we were chatting that a lot of this was born from you wanting to be better as a rider and you wanting to get access to training and things as well. So tell us a bit about that and how that because none of this just happened. I know you think it did, but it didn't. There was always that idea from you, that want, that need that you fulfilled, and then went, oh, actually, this is great. I'd love to give this to others, isn't
it? To be honest, when it first started, I wasn't. It's quite weird because that was my reasoning to start it, of my training, but I wasn't actually going to any of them because I couldn't get a horse there. And it would have been keeping a space aside and not a paying customer. So I was going off to Somerford and Tweedledale and all these things, and amazing places. I've still never ridden at Somerford, and I've had a few camps there. So it didn't quite work out the way I'd hoped, but it worked out better in other ways. And so being here now means, 10 minutes before I could, Piggy French is here teaching. 10 minutes before, I think, actually, I'm going to pack up and have a lesson now. Or I could be cooking lunch for everyone. So it's much more comfortable for me. So it's much more comfortable for everyone else because, when I went to venues, I was sometimes it was the first time I'd ever been to that place, and people were asking me, where's this, where's that? And I don't know. And, I have a rough idea, but it's not like now, people walk in and they feel at home because I'm much more relaxed too. And I said to a friend of mine who's been to a few camps when she came in and said, I'm going to get changed or something ready for dinner. And I was just like, do what you like. And it came across really rude, but we were friends, so it didn't in some ways. but it was meaning me saying, you know, make yourself at home, do what you like.
And that's really cool. I like that. So you actually get to access these amazing trainers now. So tell us who you've had on some of your camps. Has some incredible names. I'm so jealous.
So we've had Ros Cantor, Piggy French, Caroline Moore, Gemma Tassel, Harry Mead, Ben Hobday, probably a few others. They just can't come to mind. But
I know you've had really... the Kings, haven't you? Emily and Mary.
Oh yeah, that's a bad one to forget. Mary and Emily King. And well, that was for my birthday too. So I had my birthday was on the 1st of February, and that morning I was up cooking breakfast for everyone, and then I had birthday cake with Emily King. And then the next morning, Mary was here, so she was in my kitchen having coffee, and it was a good way to start my birthday.
That's so cool. So although this has been driven by your kind of wants and needs, which, you know, you have to fulfill, don't you? Like, that's life. You must have this desire to help others then and do things for the people. Otherwise you'd have kept it to yourself, surely.
Well, yeah, I haven't quite worked out what that is yet. But it was originally all came from a livery yard, and that was paying for. I almost put my horse on finance because I was riding for the owner, and she needed to sell her. Knew I couldn't buy her, so basically she came to me and I was paying her monthly, and that was only working because I was running liveries. So I originally couldn't go for the usual working pupil type thing because at first I didn't even have a horse. I mean, I had a livery yard before my own horse, so that was quite weird. So it got to that point, and then I had a horse, so I could have stopped there and then, you know, went off. And I still think now I could be probably further along with my riding if I went off, worked or based myself with, you know, one of these people that I train with, and just focus on my riding, do my job, and you know, because at points I can't go to shows because I don't have transport, I can't afford transport, I can't get time off the yard, I don't have staff cover. You know, there's been so many variables to control. So it meant, I mean, one summer I got halfway through competing and didn't compete for the rest of the year because of those things. And I had to almost I did have to put the business first. So my riding took a back seat. So, you know, I don't think it now, but, you know, in the last few months, I definitely thought, you know, I could pursue my riding more if I did that. But that's not what I want to do. And I've kind of learned that strangely, and kind of, yeah, worked with it.
So what is it then that's important to you about, you've put the business first a few times there then, interestingly. What's important to you about that means you do that?
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out really. But it's yeah, I like I said, I'm very interested in the business side of it, but it's not, and I said this to people, it's not about me living you know, luxury holidays in Barbados, which, you know, at some point would be quite nice, but it's not about the money. And that's also how it started, is, you know, it's just kind of, you know, trying to pay my way sort of thing. And if I created a reputation and paid my bills, I'm happy. And I was talking to someone that actually comes to my camps, who is now a really good friend, and trying to figure this out a bit. And she, you know, she brought it up. It's more about the people now, and it really is, because, like I said, I could focus on my riding a bit more, but I have learned that I don't want to be a rider that's 20 horses in the school a day. I'd like a nice string of horses at some point. And my aim doesn't change of one day I'd like to ride around badminton and all of those things. But actually, I enjoy what I'm doing a lot more than that, I think.
Yeah. So when someone comes to your camp and they have an amazing time, and you said one of the things that drove you on in the early days were those emails, that feedback, people saying thank you. What is it about that you think, yeah, that's what I really like? What does that give you?
It's really difficult describing it. But it's just the feeling of you have made an impact, and there's, I don't know if it's a bit over the top, but you know, we all like motivational quotes. But one of them was, be who you create who you want to be, or when you were younger, or something like that, or create something, be the person you wish was there when you were younger. And I do kind of think that, and I'd like, I would have liked the opportunities that perhaps I'm offering to other people. And that's where it's came from, is I'm not, you know, running these as just an organizer, I'm running it as a rider too, of what I would want out of it. And I'd like, yes, good training, but I'd also like to have a good time too.
I love that. And I think the other interesting thing there is that you're providing it for yourself. You know, you're doing this so that you can have things as well as others. And I think that's really lovely. And I think that's true entrepreneurship, is caring about other people, wanting to help them, and caring about yourself and wanting to do something for yourself, because that's going to motivate you in two different ways. And also knowing how to make the money out of that, because at the end of the day, we need money to live, to survive, and to look after horses and have the kind of lifestyle we have. And one of the interesting questions that I feel bad now for asking you, but again, like you say, you've constantly been asked, oh, you know, if you're Callum, you know, where's your dad, sort of thing, was I honestly thought this place that you must have got was your parents' place. And I see a lady in pictures and I thought, oh, that looks like your mum. So apologies to whoever that is in some pictures. I don't know what your mum looks like, by the way. Yeah, exactly. I bet you do. Yeah, I bet a lot of ladies take you under their wing, don't they, Callum?
Yeah.
So one of the assumptions that I wrongly made, and I love the fact that we, you know, getting to chat to people, you find out so much about them, was that I said, oh, so obviously this is your parents' place then that you've moved to. And I, you know, sorry, I feel really bad about that now, but you had a really interesting answer, which was, you know, tell me what you told me earlier about that.
So it was, so my parents aren't horsey. I mean, they've visited a couple of my events that Hicks did, and I did talk my mum into dressage writing once, so they know the word canter, and so that was quite good. And then they kept telling me it, and yeah, it's again, it is very random in the sense that people ask me why, you know, why have you got into this, and I'm so deep into it now I probably can't get out. But it's yeah, it was just creating something that I wanted, and it wasn't there, and if I wanted it I had to do it myself, because, you know, I lived, I moved out of home about a year ago now, I think, just over a year. So I moved to the Gastons where the old yard was, and then here, and it was just one of those things that I do it if I want it, or if I don't do it. I mean, you know, I remember my dad said to me in the car a couple of times when I'm stressing about things, you know, he's saying, why don't you be a normal 18-year-old and go to the pictures or something? And I did, you know, as you know, when it gets bad, you do kind of think that, and it has been difficult because I've cut off a lot of school friends because of it, because you don't go out partying and things when you have the responsibilities. And I see it in a very professional way that I'm representing my business wherever I go, and if I'm not, you know, creating a good reputation, then that affects me in lots of ways. So I couldn't be a normal 18-year-old, and yeah, in some ways I wanted that, but in some ways I didn't, because is that really what I want? And the answer is no.
So I love that. So you've created what you wanted. You've created your own reality, and yeah, there's downsides to it, aren't there? You know, nothing's ever easy. But how do you pick yourself up on a day when things are a bit more challenging?
So if I'm answering this truthfully, I have two ways really, of watching. I watch videos of either, you know, like badminton and Burley, of you know, all the pros there, and I just try and imagine myself of being in that position of, you know, riding around that cross country and things, you know, and they've all had their tough times and shares of troubles, but they're there, so, you know, why can't I be there in the future? And then I watch a lot of it's a similar thing to that, but not, you know, horsey, of X Factor videos and things like that. And it sounds really weird, but it's because, again, they're doing what they want, so why can't I? And I don't want to be a singer, but you know, they're you know, going out of their comfort zone to get where they want. So it's just about going out of your comfort zone and pushing forwards. And I've kind of learned it's okay to switch off, because we all, you know, we all do it, of trying to push through days and take on more than we can handle. And I definitely did that and thought it was the right thing, but it went wrong. And you know, so some days, yes, you need to get out of bed and be productive, but some days actually you need to spend a day on the sofa, you know, switch off, and you're going to feel much better for it.
Cool. I love that. So you allow yourself to do whatever it is you need to be doing, but you've got ways to pick yourself up. You've got ways to motivate yourself as well.
Yeah, definitely. And you know, so it's interesting because I live with a girl called Emily, who's based here and kind of rents a few boxes off me and lives in the house and things. And it's quite difficult some days because, and I am mentioning her because she told me off, because in all the podcasts and things I've done, I never mentioned her. So I'm mentioning her now, but it's quite difficult because I see everything she's going through. She was working for some top riders and did the working pupil role, but now is setting up on her own, and you know, she's struggling some days of, you know, there's not enough hours in the day, or there's not enough pounds in the bank, and all that. So it's hard kind of watching that sometimes, because I was there and I want to help her, and some days, you know, I try to, you know, give my advice and things, and some days, you know, I'm trying to figure my own life out. So it's quite hard to manage that. But you know, like the other day, we just went for a hack around the fields. I went tackless, and she went on her old pony, who's here. So, and we just kind of, you know, we said to each other, we just need a day of, you know, we're doing it to enjoy it. So we need to kind of remember that.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's great, isn't it? And I think you have got to do that sometimes. You can get so caught up in the treadmill of life and chasing the money. We need the money to live. Like, it's really important and everything, but you can kind of forget why you started, what your purpose was in the first place, and what you enjoy about it, particularly in our sport. And certainly with the top riders that I work with, and the ones lower down, but the top riders that I work with can, on their journey up, get so stuck sometimes with what you were saying earlier, which is reputation, and you know, seeing yourself as it's your business that you represent when you go out and compete and things, and you know, providing for sponsors and being seen to do well and things, that they forget why they started in the first place sometimes. And that can be you know, there are definitely downsides to success, but not if you keep doing what you're saying you do, which is just check in and remember, and just keep your feet on the ground and remember why it is that you do it, and that sort of side of things as well.
It's
and I know
difficult. Yeah, because like you say, we all try and just keep going, and I'm not very good at it still, and I'm trying to be better. But you know, I do live in a really nice place, and I kind of forget that. And I remember the first time I viewed it with the estate agent and a friend, and we looked around the place, and afterwards went to the pub and had a pint, and kind of we were both speechless, because it was a bit like, okay, like, you know, this didn't really meant to happen, like I keep saying. And I just, we both kind of didn't know what to say, because the place was just crazy. And I just thought, actually, no, I'm going to get this. And it's important to go back to days like that. And you know, when the sun's out, not days like this, but sit outside and look around, and look at what you've got and what you've kind of achieved. And you know, when you're feeling down, it's not the easiest thing to do, but once you do it, it kind of, you know, makes you think, actually, you know, yeah, we're getting somewhere here.
Yeah, definitely. And I always say that comparison is the thief of joy, but there is a type of comparison that's useful, and that's inspiration. And you can take inspiration from others, as you are doing by getting top riders and people into your house now, but also taking inspiration back from looking at how far you've come and just taking that step and remembering that as well. So the day you went and looked around this place, then, my word, your jaw must have dropped to the floor.
Yeah. Again, so I was at the point. It was about last June, July, and before that, I was about to move to Ireland in January. Um, I was going to base at River Lodge and try and do my own thing there and get involved with them and kind of have a bit of a support network almost. But so I went over there, finished the yard one evening, and got on a flight and got there at 2 o'clock in the morning. Spent the day there, and came back and was about to move my life to Ireland. And last minute, I kind of thought I need to give this one last shot here. And so I didn't feel great about it, but I did back out. And so I stayed where I was for a few more months, and nothing really changed, sort of thing. And so I was then at the crossroads of, do I then kind of cut myself some slack and go and base myself with someone and yeah, put my riding first, or do I find another yard, or do I give up completely? Didn't quite know what to do, and then it was as random as this yard came up on Facebook. And so I emailed the estate agent, as you do, and had the price of the rent and needed to get over that, and then came and had a look around. And but again, it is about risk taking, and I run on adrenaline, and yeah, I looked around, and yeah, my friend probably thought I was just coming here for a laugh, and then I sent him a picture of signed contracts and deposit payment and all of that, and said, shove it up your ass.
Oh, I love that. That is brilliant. But that is all the people I've ever spoken to and had the privilege of working with, interviewing, speaking to, and myself and my story of my business and things as well. The thing that I have noticed, and some of these guys are multimillionaires that I get to spend some time with and what have you, is that they know those opportunities when they come along that are so terrifying. You think, I don't know how I'm going to do this. Like, you look at the price of the rent, or you look at the cost of what you've got to do, and you think, I literally don't know how I'm going to do this, but I am so determined to make it work that by hook or by crook I'll find a way. And that's Definitely. When we say make your goals so big that the steps you've got to take to get there seem insignificant. Like, if you're worrying about your next step or your next thing and stopping yourself from going forwards, you're not going to get over it. But if your goal, like, you've got to keep this place going now, and it's so gorgeous. Like, I've not been there in person, but I've seen the pictures. And one of my ambassadors, Tatty Waldrich, she did the Camping with the Kings, and she loved it. I saw her photos and went, oh, really can't wait to go up there. I bet that keeps you going every day to get that money in and pay that rent.
It is, and again, going back to that's another thing I live by, motivational quotes, and something like success is never owned, it's rent and it's due every day, and it literally is, and that's everyone in the horsey world knows money is a very big thing, and it is what it is. You deal with what you've got, and if you have it, then great, and if you don't, you need to get it. So you kind of find ways of doing it, and yeah, it's been tough, and that's where I say, have a day in bed and switch off and get over it and start again. And I mean, like, I'm not ashamed to say I did cry on Piggy French's shoulder. And yeah, probably scarred her for life. But to be doing that, and for her to say back what she said to me of, the rubbish she's been through, and for me to keep going and keep at it, and it will work. I got up the next day much better than I started the last. So it's just, you have to take every little bit. I mean, so I moved here in September, and I've put up some coat hooks at the door yesterday, and I keep looking at them because I feel like I've made it in life.
Oh, that is brilliant. It's those little things, isn't it? You just see something and you think, yes, that's it, I've done it. Yeah. Some of this stuff behind me right now, and I just look at that and think, yes, got that. Amazing. So that was one of the other things that I wanted to ask you about. So you get to be around these incredible people because you're inviting them into your home to come and teach on camps and things. I don't know whether you know you've done this, but you've inadvertently surrounded yourself with hugely successful people, which means that you can do something which Caroline Moore talks about and I talk about a lot, which is role model them. But not just from a what would they do in their riding perspective, but you get to have those coffees with them, you get to have dinner with them, you get to chat with them about how they overcome challenges, what they've done in their life and things like that. So what's kind of some of the things you gleaned from these top guys that's like stuck with you and will keep you going?
I think it's similar to kind of what you get in the arena of you take something from everyone. And people do say it to me. I mean, like, you know, having coffee with Mary King is quite a crazy thing, but somehow it just felt normal. And I remember someone's mum coming up to me and said, last night was the best night of my daughter's life. She spent the night on the sofa with Ros Cantor. And it is crazy. And it's, I mean, you know more about it than I do, but talking about surrounding yourself with people that you want to be and role modeling, like you say. And it's yeah, what you want out of everyone. And it was a bit of a shame because the person that I did, you know, idolize almost, turned out to be someone I didn't think they would be. And Claire, the photographer that comes to all my clinics, we were going to one of the clinics in her car, and she kind of said to me a bit like this: "Of so what, you know, at the end of the day, what do you want?" And I said, "You know, yes, I want to ride around badminton and things, but I want to have the same people calling me up now as in 10 years, and I want the same clients as when I started to hopefully when I'm riding around badminton, and I want to be a role model for, you know, people now, and yeah, so my views kind of changed on that person, but it meant to other people, and I mean, I'm hoping Caroline Moore doesn't get bored of me at the moment, but she's I think she's adopted me. We do speak every day, and I do speak to her more than my parents maybe, but so I'm hoping she doesn't get bored. But I think she is a complete role model, definitely, and I very much look up to her and have a lot of respect because yes, she's at the top of her game and the top of the sport and doing what she's doing, but you know, she makes time for everyone. You can call her up no matter what. And she, you know, when I've had tough times, she said, you know, call me anytime. And it's the same with Ros and everyone else. And they are normal people, and that's part of the camps of they all come and have dinner with us and stay in the house and everything. And it's breaking that barrier. With, you know, when Harry Mead came into the kitchen and we were having a chat, and he said, you know, I've got your back. And Gemma Tattersall, we had a really good laugh when she was here. Same with Ros, but Caroline, I think, yeah, she's something. It sounds weird, but special. And you know, being the junior coach of, I think that's the perfect role because they at that age or at this age, you are very influential. And if you're being coached by someone that's, yeah, a good trainer but not a very nice person, then you're not, you know, it's not ideal. But she is, you know, someone to really role model young people in sport, definitely.
That's so awesome. And you know, you really have got so many of the traits of someone who's just going to make a huge success of their life, and whatever that is, you know, like you've got guts and determination. You've got a real kind of learning mindset, like, you know, fail and learn from it. It's okay. Take the risks, you know, calculate stuff. You're not like reckless, but calculate stuff. Take the risks. It's about your support. It's about your team. It's about finding role models and having people that you can rely on, but then equally wanting to be that person for others and things as well. And all of that stuff, if you look at great entrepreneurs, and I don't just mean the ones who have earned a shitload of money, I mean great entrepreneurs that are out there helping people and fantastic people achieving what they want to achieve based on what we call their values. You know, you've ticked all those boxes, and the sky's the limit for you. So I suppose my final question really, oh, and by the way, just to let you know, some of the stuff that's come through is I think you've got some people there waiting for some camps. We all know there are lots of people waiting for camp. But my final question to you then, Callum, is what's the future hold? What's the bigger picture for you? What's it really all about?
Hopefully good things. I'm still trying to. Well, we're all trying to get through coronavirus without too much damage. So it is about thinking outside the box and almost, the sink or swim thing of some businesses will go down the drain, and they can't do anything to help it. But I'll do everything I can to carry on making this happen and growing. So hopefully we can get back to normal as quickly as possible, and then just keep getting bigger and bigger.
So what's the big future? What's bigger and bigger? Where's the dream? Come on, Callum. You've been so good at this.
I think growing two sides of it. I would like to do a bit more riding at some point, but I have put that on the back seat happily at the moment because I want to focus on the business. So yes, that includes getting some pennies in the bank, but it also means developing the yard as a real hub for world-class training, and almost the go-to place. And then on the riding front, once I've made a bit of money and got my life organised, I'd like to get some more horses in at some point. Take it back a step and do my driving test. That'd be good. And,
so you don't actually drive at all? It's not even you need your lorry test, you just don't even drive? Wow. So you've managed to do all of this without even driving?
Well, yeah, it is. I kind of had to prioritise other things, and a lot of people said I should have prioritised that, but it just didn't kind of fit into my plans.
No, that's amazing. So that's resourcefulness right there, doing what you've done without even being able to drive a car. I mean, there you go. That just shows you some of the obstacles that people put in their way are nonsense.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I went down to Boomerang for a camp on the train with all my pots and pans to cook breakfast, and then I was, I'd pack up home for the weekend with all my rosettes and score sheets and get on the train down to Hicksted and build the course. And yeah, it's been difficult. I mean, it would have been a lot easier driving, but again, other things were more important. Time and money is a big thing. So I kind of went with it, and yeah, so I need to make time for that, and then I could actually drive myself to shows too.
Cool. So there's one comment here that I just want to read to you live because I want to know what you say. So this has come from Ali, and she said, "Hi Callum, I've really enjoyed coming to your events a few years ago, especially at Hicksted. You enabled me to achieve one of my dreams, and that was jumping the Hicksted planks. I admire what you've done and you're achieving, so well done." So there
Thank you very much.
Making people's dreams come true. You might not realise it. Well, you do realise it actually, don't you? Because that little girl was best day of her life. But she might not have been that little actually. She probably wasn't that little.
She was an adult.
Well, we're all little girls.
Oh, you've muted yourself.
So I have. Thanks for that. I lent on my thingy. That's what it was.
Getting excited.
Right. So what was I saying? So I was saying, what's really lovely to hear is your fresh approach, your breath of fresh air. And I think, like you say, being young and having a different way of viewing things has really been like the key to your success for this, because you clearly are an entrepreneur. You clearly have got that mind of how can I make some money? How can I drive things forward? How do I run a business in order to pay for stuff? But it's not about the money. It's about how do I help people? How do I have a win-win? How do I get something I want and help others as well? And I think that's that real kind of like business like ethics that sit behind it that will get you a long way. And it's I hope lots of people are really inspired by our chat today, because it just shows what you can achieve if you just put your values first and the things that you find important first, and the rest of it will just come. And like you say, you have to make tough decisions, like not driving and things, because actually other stuff was more important. And yet here you are today, and having achieved what you've achieved so far, the sky's the limit.
Definitely. And I mean, I had someone even comment on a post this morning who's been following my page from the start, and they put a post up about an event, and she said it's inspired her to keep supporting her daughter's dreams of riding. just by following the story. And it really is. And again, as rubbish as it sounds, the sky is the limit. And I think that's what kind of excites me and kind of does get me out of bed every morning, is almost working for someone. Yes, in some ways it's lovely, but you're there to do the job. But if you're doing your own thing, there's no saying what is the limit. And that's what kind of excites me and puts the adrenaline in me of you can create whatever you want to create.
Awesome. And they say, don't they, with great responsibility comes great challenges and great freedom. And you've got all of those.
Exactly.
Okay. So thank you so much, Callum, for that. Obviously, if anyone wants to ask him questions, then and they're watching this on the replay, they can put them into the replay on Facebook. If they want to contact you, what's the best way to contact you? Facebook, Instagram?
Anything. Instagram, Facebook, message, call, email. I've always got my phone on me, and I'm always happy to talk to people. So yeah, I might not reply first time, so just write me.
Cool. Okay, so it's Banfield Equestrian, your Facebook page, isn't it? What's your Instagram? Is that Banfield Equestrian as well?
My Instagram is just Callum Banfield, and then all my details are on my Facebook page, of the email and contact number and things. But yeah, if anyone ever wants to get in contact or book a camp, then get involved.
Yeah. And so have you got camps lined up for the rest of the year? You were just waiting to know whether they can go ahead, or are you holding out on them at the moment?
So we've had to cancel a lot. I mean, to get through the winter, my busiest month was April. So we had about 7 camps planned, I think, which have all been put on hold. We're hoping to reschedule in the summer. But like I said, everyone's taking day by day, and if we can get back up and running as quickly as possible, then great. And then I have other things booked in, and just keep putting things out. Seeing what tomorrow holds.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Callum. Like I say, people are very welcome to get in touch. It's been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for your time.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.